Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel, and in our top stories today, something very important to me and probably even to you. From the AP, Trump signs executive order setting 30-day deadline for drug makers to lower prescription drug costs. Yes, absolutely. President Donald Trump on Monday signed a sweeping executive order setting a 30-day deadline for drug makers to electively lower the cost of prescription drugs in the U.S. or face new limits down the road over what the government will pay. The order calls on the health department, led by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., to broker new price tags for drugs over the next month. If deals are not reached, Kennedy will be tasked with developing a new rule that ties the prices the U.S. pays for medications to lower prices paid by other countries. That's right. Now, other countries also pay for the rights and or the copyrights to certain developments of drugs because, of course, a lot of them are done here. The R&D is done here, and then they pay for the licensing. We're going to equalize, Trump said during a Monday morning press conference. We're all going to pay the same. We're going to pay what Europe pays, and as we should, right? I mean, it's unclear what, if any, impact the Republican president's executive order will have on millions of Americans who have private health insurance. The federal government has the most power to shape the price it pays for drugs covered by Medicare and Medicaid, of course. And then Trump promises new but uncertain savings on drug prices just hours after the Republican-led House released a new plan to trim $800 billion for Medicaid. Now, that's a whole other conversation going on right there, ladies and gentlemen. But, yeah, as we see that here, kind of trending a bit here on X, where you can follow me as well. Of course, I've cleared all my notifications. I like to keep everything clear. But anyway, nonetheless, guys, you can follow me on X because I have all of my social media links down below this video, so take advantage of that. So as we see here from Robert Dean, Trump signs executive order to cut drug prices by 30 to 80%, he says, to match other countries. And I agree 100%. I think it's a great way to do it. Let's see what NBC has to say. And it's going to be a little garbly here at the beginning, but let's see what NBC has to say.
Now to a story we told you about at the top of the hour. We have more details about President Trump's plan to slash drug prices in the U.S. by at least 50%.
This morning, the president signed a sweeping executive order which sets a 30-day deadline for drug makers to lower the cost of prescription medications. Joining us now to talk about it all, NBC News health and medical reporter Berkeley Lovelace. Berkeley, this all sounds really good, but how does drug pricing currently work, and what is the actual proposed change in this executive order?
Yeah, so in the U.S., drug companies generally have the freedom to charge whatever they want or whatever the market will bear. And so under this new plan, Trump is directing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to basically negotiate with drug companies to lower their prices. If they're unable to reach an agreement, then Trump will then direct Kennedy to adopt what he calls a most favored nation policy, where the drugs in the U.S. will be tied to the drug prices in other countries. And so this is a policy that's very similar to what Trump did in his first term, but that was blocked by a federal court in the drug industry when he first did this the first time. And so right now there's a lot of questions right now whether Trump has the legal authority to do something like this and whether or not we'll be able to get these drugs.
Fascinating, isn't it, that the drug companies can set their own prices. And in his first term, in Trump's first term, a federal judge blocked him from being able to lower the prices. So obviously Big Pharma, of course, is part of the establishment uniparty that we often talk about. I don't always talk about Big Pharma, well, occasionally. But clearly, this would be a huge benefit to Americans. This is one of those things where the president, as chief executive, if he can, and have the power to persuade and affect how drug companies or how our prices are based upon what drug companies are. But that is correct, because I remember having this conversation with one of my doctors, and he was, basically, to make it short, the prices that we often pay is based upon our income. So, someone may pay $20, someone may pay, like I did, like $80, and then someone else may pay $200 for the same medication simply based upon our income. And it's outrageous to think that Big Pharma can do this. And I know I dated a girl who worked for Eli Lilly, and the money that Big Pharma makes is absolutely insane how much they make. So, yes, I would welcome a 30 to 80% reduction. Absolutely. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments section what you guys think, too. Would you like to see this reduced? And I would like to see the Trump administration address our medical care in the United States in general. I mean, because this is something that he has not touched on. This is something we've not heard a lot about. I know Jimmy Dore is always talking about Medicaid and Medicare for all, which is kind of interesting. But since Obamacare, as you want to call it, it's been challenging for me. And I would like to see not only the reduction here in drug prices, but also changes in our medical system. So you guys have to let me know down in the comment section if you would welcome something very similar like a Medicaid or Medicaid for all. I know that sounds very socialist because Jimmy Dore is pretty much on the socialist side. But yeah, we definitely need to do something to our health system here in the United States. But I welcome your thoughts down in the comment section, as well as I want to thank all you guys across New Tech, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey for your guys' continued support. Of course, everyone here on YouTube, thank you so much for the new outlines that I'm doing now on the channel with shorts. So you guys ought to let me know if you feel a little overwhelmed by them. But just the way YouTube is working, it's just like, there's certain things that we have to do. I won't go into all the details and bore you with it, but there's certain things that we're doing. So I'm trying to experimenting with different things. And but I do appreciate all your guys' continued support. The likes, the shares, and the comments are amazing, and it's greatly appreciated. Appearing there on the screen for everyone who is watching on YouTube, that would be the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way no one is content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.